In Yuoda's room is magnificent and magnificent, a handsome and mature man is helping a little boy choose clothes. This person is Ikeoyan, CEO of Hashi Group, and the little boy is his son. At this time, President He was attending a press conference, and the reporter actually asked if he was his illegitimate son. He was told by President He that his son had a name and a surname. What about the illegitimate child? A woman yelled at the restaurant to 300,000, but 500,000. It turned out to be her former boyfriend, Zhu Jiang, who abandoned it all the time, and everything that Zhu Jiang had came from her, who was Ken Yu. She is not afraid to anger her ex-boyfriend and the mistress who got involved in her feelings. At this time, Mr. He was having a meeting in the office. His son Xiaobao made a lot of trouble in the office because Mr. He was late, and even smashed the computer. When the secretary was about to call, Mr. He came back, but Xiaobao still, if you don't listen to the explanation, Mr. He will not be used to Xiaobao completely. When he was about to call a doctor, he discovered that the doctor had resigned. Of course, this situation is very common, because before that, Xiaobao had already angered more than 10 doctors. Up. The secretary urged Mr. He to leave as soon as possible. There were still a lot of things to be completed. Mr. He had no choice but to take Mr. He with him. Ken Yu and her girlfriends have hot pot together, but they have been drinking, a bit like using wine to relieve their sorrows. Mr. He visited the samples and tests in the company. My girlfriend told Ken Yu that Zhu Jiang had actually acted for the Hashi Group's Outstanding Youth Award. When she heard that, she was very dissatisfied. She asked her to go back first, and the provincial capital had something to do. Mr. He tested the live broadcast effect in the office and said it was very interesting. Then he asked the staff to go out. He wanted to study the platform data and traffic by himself, so Xiaobao sneaked out while Mr. He didn't pay attention. After a while, Mr. He found out. Zhou Bao ran to the hotel lobby, saw his father's sign, and posted a love note, but was stopped by the staff. Zhou Bao was in a hurry and wanted to run. At this moment, Mr. He was leading someone to look for Zhou Bao. When Zhou Bao ran, he accidentally bumped into many brands. Ken Yu came to rescue Zhou Bao and communicated with him ingeniously. He also gave him his favorite doll. At this time, Secretary General He came over and took Xiaobao away. President He was looking for Xiaobao on the 3rd floor, but Ken Yu mistakenly thought it was his scumbag ex-boyfriend, so he told the story even when he was beaten and scolded, but her hair hooked up to President He's tie, Ken Yu, so he cut off the tie with scissors. Ken Yu apologized and left. When she left, she ran into her ex-boyfriend and his current girlfriend, and she left without even looking. During the award ceremony, President He discovered that this person was the imposter Ken Yu mentioned earlier, so he crossed out his name and said no, and walked off the podium and left. After returning home, Mr. He also repaired his tie. It happened to see that Ken Yu was on the list of new doctors selected for Xiaobao, but she threw her resume in the trash can. Mr. He woke up early in the morning and started working. At this time, Mr. Wen Shun from the Wen Group came to Mr. He and asked Mr. He about the live broadcast yesterday, but Mr. He didn't know that the incident with Ken Yu yesterday was filmed from another angle. After being misunderstood as the two being ambiguous, Mr. He minimized the damage immediately and drove tendency away. Yang Ruo, I woke up Dong Yu, and happened to see the misunderstanding of the two yesterday on the internet, and hurried